In this video, we will look at geofencing and what it's used for, how to set it up. All right, so number one, in order to use geofencing, what you need to do is you need to have an address associated with the location where you're sending your employees to work. So the idea here is that you're creating a location where you want them to be, and we're using what we call geofencing to ensure that when they do a check-in on their mobile device, that they're actually inside that bubble. All right. So the first thing is inside your site setup. Let's take a look at this example site I have here called AZ Site 1. Let's go ahead and click Update, and let's go in and look at the settings for this. Now, I already have an address plugged in here. So if you don't have an address, you definitely need to fill this in. Give us an address, a city, a state, and a zip code or postal code. And the reason I'm going to tell you to do that is because then all you have to do is click this refresh button, which will give us the actual GPS coordinates. If you don't fill this in, how are we supposed to know where you're supposed to send someone, right? So fill that in, click refresh, and you'll get the geolocation coordinates here, okay? Now, once you have those, you may not agree that you want the person to be exactly on, this particular pinpoint. Maybe you want to move it a little bit. Well, that's the beauty of this is you can actually click on this pinpoint and you can move it around. So if you want them to be inside this building right here on the corner, and there you go. Now, once you move that, okay, then if you're good with that, what will happen here is these coordinates will have updated, okay? So let's say I'm happy with this. The next thing I have to do is I have to turn GPS tracking on, and it's for this site only. So this is done site by site. So you don't have to turn it on for every site. You can leave some sites with it off if you want. So let's turn it on. We just click on this to say yes. Once we click yes, we need to set up a radius. And that is a circle. How big is the circle going to be around this point? So let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. That's 232 feet. So that's what that looks like. If you want to make it a little bit bigger, that's 364. And you can click and drag and move this around to wherever you think is a reasonable area for them to be when they clock in. The idea here is not to set this to like 11 feet and try to have them be, in one little doorway when they clock in, but if they're within the general area of the building like this, that should be sufficient to let you know that they're actually at the location when they're clocking in, okay? All right, so once you set that up, then that's all there is to it. Now, there's one more thing to keep in mind here for verification. There's two ways to set this up. You can let people clock in outside the fence if you want. So they could be over here outside and clock in. They have to then they'll have to accept a message on their phone that says you are outside the circle. Are you sure you want to do this? And they say yes, they can clock in. We still record the location of where they were when they did that, and you can send an alert if that happens. The other side, the more popular setting, is just don't allow that to happen at all. Just block it. So this says don't allow employees to perform clock actions outside the geofence. That way, if you're not inside this green circle, you will not be able to check in or check out of your shift. Okay, so that's all there is to it. So you just set that up and you click on save, and that's it. Okay, so that's saved. And of course, you can come back here and adjust the size of the circle at any time or change the address if you made a mistake, but that's pretty much it from the scheduling standpoint. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that for the employees, what does this do for them? Well, I'm going to show you the Team Xpress app here. All right, so I'm logged in as one of your employees here, and I'm looking at my schedule. So let's go to my schedule. And I go to the map. Now, the circle is going to update depending on where my location is. So in this case, it says I'm right here, and I'm supposed to be over here, so it's showing up in red. So it won't let me clock in, okay? I would now have to either, move myself inside the circle in order to be able to clock in. So the red means bad, obviously the green, it would turn green if I was inside the circle, and I'd be able to check in. And that's really all there is to it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again next time.